Look, let me tell you something right now. You want to be successful. You want to see that dream manifest. Then stop trying to sleep like a billionaire while you're still living on a minimum wage schedule. You cannot outrun your problems if you can't even outrun your alarm clock. Wakey opie! Your future is calling, but you're too busy hitting snooze on your destiny. Listen to me clearly. God gave everybody 24 hours. Bill Gates got 24, Oprah got 24, and I got 24. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is what you're doing with those hours. If you're rolling out of bed at 90 a.m., you've already lost the most productive part of the day. You're already behind. Decisions have been made, deals have been signed, and people have been out working you while you were still dreaming about it. I'm telling you, when you get up at 4:00 or 50 in the morning, that time belongs to you and God. No phones ringing, no emails hitting your inbox, no kids screaming. That's when the vision gets clear. Success leaves clues, man. Look at every high-level athlete, every CEO, every person who made something of themselves. They are on the field before the sun comes up. Why? Because when you wake up early, you command the day. When you wake up late, the day commands you. You spend the rest of the day just trying to catch up. That snooze button, that's the enemy of progress. Every time you hit snooze, you just failed your first test of discipline. You're telling yourself, my dreams can wait a little longer. No, they can't. Success doesn't wait for anybody. It waits for the person who has the grit to kick those covers off and get to work. Is it going to be hard? Yeah, it's going to be hard. Are you going to be tired? Absolutely. But remember this, comfort and growth cannot coexist. You can either be comfortable or you can be successful. You cannot be both. Tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off, don't argue with it. See it as an invitation to your greatness. Get up, give thanks, and get after it. Change your morning, and I promise you, you will change your life forever. Now get up and go get your life! Listen to me, and I mean really listen, because what I'm about to tell you is the absolute great equalizer in this game called life. People come up to me all the time, and they say, Steve, I just don't have the time to get it done. I've got a job, I've got kids, I've got bills, I just don't have the time you have. And I have to stop them right there, look them in the eye, and tell them they are lying to themselves. You see, the biggest myth we tell ourselves to feel better about our lack of progress is that successful people have some secret reservoir of time that the rest of the world doesn't have access to. But let me break the math down for you. God, in his infinite wisdom, was the most fair when he handed out time. He didn't give the rich man 30 hours and the poor man 15. He didn't give the genius a head start with a 40-hour day. No, sir. He gave Bill Gates 24 hours. He gave Oprah Winfrey 24 hours. He gave the person sleeping under the bridge 24 hours. And he gave you 24 hours. Every single morning when you wake up, your account is credited with 86,400 seconds. Every person on this planet starts with the exact same balance. The only difference between where you are standing right now and where you want to be is what you are doing with those hours while you're awake. Most people spend their time, but successful people invest it. There is a massive distinction there. When you spend time, it's gone, and you have nothing to show for it but an older version of yourself. But when you invest time, you expect a return. You see, if you're rolling out of bed at 80 or 90 a.m., and you've got a dream that requires $1 million effort, you've already lost the most valuable real estate of the day. You are literally throwing away the prime time of your life. You cannot expect to have a championship life on a part-time schedule. If you use your 24 hours to watch television, to scroll through someone else's success on social media, or to complain about what you don't have, you are essentially telling the universe that you don't value the gift you've been given. You have to understand that success is not a miracle. It is a result of consistent, disciplined use of your time. If you take just 1 hour out of your 24 and dedicate it strictly to your craft, your business, or your growth, you will be miles ahead of the competition in a year. But most people won't do it. They'd rather sleep. They'd rather relax. They'd rather wait for a better time. Let me tell you something, there is no better time. The clock is ticking right now. While you're sitting there thinking about it, somebody else with the same 24 hours is outworking you. They are getting up while it's dark. They are studying while you're partying. And they are building while you're dreaming. You have to stop looking at your watch and start looking at your calendar. You have to account for every single minute. If you don't have a plan for your 24 hours, somebody else will have a plan for you. You'll spend your day fulfilling their dreams instead of yours. It's time to stop making excuses about what you don't have and start maximizing what you do have. You have the same time as the greats. The question isn't whether you have enough time. The question is, do you have enough heart to use the time you've got? Get up, get out, and stop wasting the only currency you can never earn back. Listen to me, because this is where most people lose the war before they even get out of their pajamas. You want to talk about reaching the mountaintop. You want to talk about the mansions, the cars, and the legacy. None of that starts in a boardroom or on a stage. It starts on your nightstand at 50:00 a.m. That little plastic box sitting next to your bed is the first opponent you have to face every single morning, and most of you are letting it knock you out cold. When that alarm goes off, that is the first battle of the day. It is the first test of your discipline, your character, and your commitment to the dream you were talking so loud about last night. And what do most people do? They reach over half asleep and they hit that snooze button. Now, let me tell you what you're actually doing when you hit snooze. You aren't just getting 10 more minutes of sleep. You are literally telling the Creator and yourself that your dreams can wait. You are making a conscious decision to delay your destiny. You are saying, I know I said I wanted to change my family's life. I know I said I wanted to be the best in my field, but this warm blanket is more important than my future. How can you expect to conquer the world if you can't even conquer a button? Success is a mindset, and it starts with winning the very first moment of the day. If you start your morning by losing to your alarm clock, you have set a precedent for failure that will follow you into your office, into your gym, and into your relationships. You have already practiced giving up. You have already practiced taking the easy way out. You think the great ones, the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, the people who changed the world, you think they were laying there debating with a clock. No, sir! When that bell rings, they are up and out. They understand that the snooze button is a trap designed to keep you average. It's a sedative for your ambition. You have to realize that discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Especially when you don't feel like doing it. Nobody feels like getting out of a warm bed when it's cold and dark outside. I don't care who you are. That bed feels good to everybody. But successful people don't live by their feelings, they live by their commitments. If you told yourself last night that you were going to get up at 5:30 to work on that business plan or to get that workout in, then 5:30 is the time of execution. There is no negotiation. There is no maybe 5 more minutes. When you negotiate with your alarm, you are negotiating with your poverty. You are negotiating with your mediocrity. You have to develop a no excuse zone around your wake-up time. You've got to get to the point where the alarm doesn't even have to finish the first beep before your feet hit the floor. That is how you build the mental toughness required to handle the real storms that are coming later in the day. If you can win that first 15 seconds of the morning, you gain a momentum that carries you through the next 16 hours. But if you lose that first battle, you're spending the rest of the day trying to climb out of a hole you dug for yourself. Stop letting that clock be your master. You get up, you shut it off, and you tell the day exactly how it's going to go. Win the first battle, and the war becomes a whole lot easier. Now, I want you to really lock in on this, because this right here is the secret sauce that the world doesn't want you to know about. We live in a world that is louder than it has ever been. Everybody is shouting, everybody is posting, everybody is trying to grab a piece of your attention from the moment you pick up that phone. But if you want to be a person of substance, if you want to be a person of vision, you have to find a way to get away from the noise. That is where the power of the quiet hours comes in. I'm talking about that window between 40 holes in AM and 6 CEO at AM. That is the most sacred time of the day, and if you aren't using it, you are leaving your greatness on the table. You see, during the day, you belong to everybody else. You belong to your boss, you belong to your customers, you belong to your kids, you belong to your spouse. Everybody has a claim on your time, but in those early morning hours, nobody is calling you. Nobody is emailing you with an emergency. The world is still asleep, and because the world is asleep, you can finally hear yourself think. This is the time when you and God sit down and get the blueprint right. I tell people all the time, you can't build a skyscraper in the middle of a hurricane. You need calm to build something that lasts. When you get up in the quiet, your brain isn't cluttered with the drama of the news or the opinions of people on social media. You have a clarity that is impossible to find at 20:00 p.m. In the quiet, you can pray with focus. In the quiet, you can look at your goals and actually see the path to reaching them. I used to sit in the quiet and just write. I'd write down where I wanted to be, what I wanted to provide for my family, and how I was going to get there. That quiet gave me the room to dream bigger than my circumstances. Most of you are trying to solve life's biggest problems while you're stuck in traffic or while you're eating lunch, and you wonder why you're stressed out. You're stressed because you haven't given your mind the silence it needs to recharge and recalibrate. The quiet hours are where the strategy is born. You can't go into a battle without a plan, and you can't make a plan while people are shooting at you. The daytime is the battle. The morning is the war room. If you wait until the day starts to figure out what you're doing, you've already lost. But when you use that silence to meditate, to visualize, and to prep your mind, you walk out of your house like a giant. You aren't reacting to what happens. You are dictating what happens. There is a peace that comes with being up before the sun. It gives you a sense of power. You feel like you've got a head start on the whole planet. While your competition is snoring, you are sharpening your axe. While they are unconscious, you are becoming more conscious of your purpose. Do not underestimate the power of silence. It is in the stillness that the best ideas are born. It is in the stillness that the most profound realizations hit you. Stop giving your best energy to the noise of the world and start giving it to the silence of the morning. That is where you find the version of yourself that is capable of doing the impossible. Listen to me, because this right here is the difference between a person who is just surviving and a person who is truly thriving. Most people in this world are living their lives in a reactive state. What does that mean? It means they wake up because they have to, not because they want to. The alarm goes off, they drag themselves out of bed, they grab their phone, and immediately they start reacting. They react to the text messages they missed. They react to the bad news on the television. They react to the emails from a boss who is already stressed out. By 80 a.m., they've already surrendered their peace of mind to 1,000 different people who don't even care about their dreams. When you live reactively, you are like a piece of wood floating in the middle of the ocean. Wherever the tide goes, you go. If the world is having a bad day, you're having a bad day. If your coworkers are complaining, you're complaining. You are literally letting the world dictate your mood, your energy, and your output. You are playing defense. And let me tell you something, you cannot score points on defense. Success requires you to play offense. It requires you to be proactive. When you wake up early, before the world has a chance to demand anything from you, you are taking the steering wheel of your life. You aren't waiting for the day to happen to you. You are happening to the day. You are the one setting the tone. You decide that today is going to be a day of progress. You decide that you are going to be focused. You decide that no matter what chaos happens at the office or in the news, your internal state is already set in stone. That is the power of a head start. Think about a race. If I give you a 50-meter head start and a 100-meter dash, I don't care how fast the other guy is, he's going to have a hard time catching you. That is what waking up early does for your mind. By the time 90 a.m. rolls around and the rest of the world is just starting to figure out where their coffee is, you've already prayed, you've already worked out, you've already planned your moves, and you've already knocked out your biggest task. You are walking into the room with a level of confidence that people who wake up late just can't understand. When you are proactive, you anticipate the obstacles. You aren't surprised when a problem pops up because you already spent your morning visualizing your success and preparing your response. You aren't stressed by the deadline because you started working on it while everyone else was still hitting snooze. Being proactive means you are the architect of your destiny. You aren't asking for permission to be great. You are taking it. Most people spend their whole lives waiting for the right circumstances to be successful. They wait for the economy to be right. They wait for the perfect job. They wait for someone to come along and discover them. That's reactive thinking. A proactive person creates their own circumstances. If the door is locked, they build a new door. If the road is blocked, they find a new path. It all starts with those first few hours. If you can control your morning, you can control your day. If you can control your day, you can control your week. And if you can control your weeks, you can change your entire life. Stop being a spectator in your own life. Stop letting life happen to you. Get up, get out front, and start making things happen. Be the one who sets the pace, not the one who is struggling to keep up. Now, listen to me real close, because this is a universal law that most people spend their entire lives trying to break, and they wonder why they're stuck. You have to understand that comfort and growth cannot coexist. It is a physical, spiritual, and mental impossibility for you to stay exactly where you are and still get to where you want to be. Most of you are praying for a harvest, but you're too afraid to get out into the dirt because it's cold and it's messy. You want the reward, but you're in love with the comfort of your current situation. But let me tell you something: comfort is the graveyard of your greatness. When you are comfortable, you aren't stretching. When you aren't stretching, you aren't growing. And if you aren't growing, you are dying. It's just that simple. You think that bed feels good in the morning because it's a reward. No, sir. That bed feels good because it's a trap. It's designed to keep you sedated while the world passes you by. If you want to reach a level you've never been to, you've got to be willing to do things you never done. That means you've got to be willing to be tired. You've got to be willing to be misunderstood. You've got to be willing to stand in the dark while everybody else is under the covers. You see, the human mind is wired for one thing: survival. Your brain wants to keep you safe, warm, and fed. It wants you to stay in the cave. But your spirit, that piece of God inside you, it wants to expand. It wants to build. It wants to conquer. So every single morning, there is a war going on between your mind and your spirit. Your mind says, stay in this warm bed. It's raining outside. You worked hard yesterday. You deserve a break. But your spirit says, get up. There's a legacy to build. There's a family to take care of. There's a purpose to fulfill. If you keep choosing the comfort of the bed, you are letting your mind kill your spirit's potential. I'm telling you, the most successful people I know are the most uncomfortable people I know. They are constantly pushing themselves into rooms where they feel like the smallest person there. They are constantly taking on tasks that scare them. They understand that the burn you feel when you're pushing yourself, whether that's in the gym or in the office, that burn is the feeling of weakness leaving your body. It's the feeling of growth happening. If your life is easy right now, you aren't doing enough. If you don't feel a little bit of tension, a little bit of, I don't know if I can do this, then you are playing it too safe. You cannot become the person God intended you to be by remaining the person you are right now. You have to shed that old skin. You have to walk away from the things that make you feel safe. Stop looking for the easy way out. The easy way out leads to a hard life later on. But the hard way, the disciplined way, the get up when I'm tired way, that leads to an easy life later. You can pay the price now, or you can pay the price later with interest. And trust me, the interest on regret is a debt you can't afford to pay. So tomorrow morning, when you feel that resistance, when you feel that urge to stay under the covers, I want you to smile, because that resistance is proof that you're at the edge of your comfort zone. And right on the other side of that zone is everything you've been praying for. Don't trade your destiny for a few more minutes of comfort. Get out of that bed, get uncomfortable, and get to work. Now, listen to me real close, because this is the bottom line. This is the grand finale of the whole equation. People are always looking for a magic pill, a secret shortcut, or some big dramatic event that is going to suddenly flip their life right side up. They think, if I just get that promotion, or if I just win the lottery, then everything will change. But that is not how life works. Life is a game of patterns. It is a game of momentum. And the most powerful pattern in your entire existence is your morning. I am telling you, if you change your morning, you will change your life forever. It's not just a catchy slogan. It is a spiritual and psychological fact. Your morning is the blueprint for the next 16 hours. If the blueprint is shaky, the house is going to fall down. If the blueprint is solid, you can build a skyscraper on top of it. Most of you are waking up in chaos. You're waking up late, you're rushing, you're stressed, you're yelling at the kids, you're spilling coffee, and you're jumping into traffic already angry. And then you wonder why your life feels like a mess. It's because you started the day in a mess. You can't sow seeds of chaos in the morning and expect to reap a harvest of peace and success in the afternoon. It doesn't work that way. What you do in those first 60 minutes after you open your eyes dictates the frequency you're going to operate on for the rest of the day. If you start with gratitude, if you start with prayer, if you start with a plan, you are setting a high frequency. You are telling the world, I am a person of order. I am a person of purpose. And when you carry that energy into the world has no choice but to respond to you differently. Think about it like this: your life is just a collection of days. That's all it is. If you have a string of successful, disciplined days, you end up with a successful, disciplined life. But a day is won or lost in the morning. If you win the morning, you win the day. If you win the day, you win the week. If you win the week, you win the month. And before you know it, you're looking in the mirror a year from now, and you don't even recognize the person looking back at you. That's how transformation happens. It's not one big leap, it's 1,000 small steps taken before 70 O's at a.m. You have to realize that you are the creator of your own atmosphere. You can't wait for the world to give you peace. You have to generate it. When you get up early and you take control, you are building a wall of discipline around your life. That wall keeps the distractions out. It keeps the negativity out. It allows you to focus on the main thing. Most people are majoring in minor things because they don't have a morning routine to keep them grounded. They are drifting. But when you anchor your day in a solid morning, you stop drifting. You start sailing. So I'm challenging you right now. Stop looking at the finish line and start looking at the starting block. Stop worrying about how you're going to get to the end of the year and start worrying about how you're going to get to the end of tomorrow morning. If you can master that 1 hour, that first hour of the day, you can master anything. You can lose the weight. You can start the business. You can fix the marriage. You can get your finances right. It all starts with the decision to get up, get focused, and get moving while the rest of the world is still hitting snooze. Change your morning, and I promise you, by the grace of God, you will change your life. Now, go out there and show the world what you're made of.